Hi everyone, I'm Karsten Keller, and I am the writer, director, and editor of Nicus Stuff episode 45, White Castle, and this is just a simple video where I'm just going to go through the editing timeline, and just kind of go through how, this was a lot of work. Like, if we zoom out all the way, oh yeah, especially once we get on the road, you can see there's a, decent amount of layers, and even then, there's stuff to the editing. So there's a couple of things to go through here, and I just kind of want to talk about it because there's a lot that goes into editing these videos. They do take a while, and I guess we can start right here. So first off, for all of the couch shots in the basement, I think, yeah, I always do color correction. I don't know what this layer is, but this is my default color correction setting, and it can be better. I want to make it a bit better next year, but I think it looks a lot better than the default, which back when I used Windows Movie Maker to edit, which I did up until September 2022, late September 2022, the first episode edited with Final Cut Pro was the Ninjago movie episode. But starting that episode, I had color correction, and it never really bothered me back in Windows Movie Maker, but now after color correcting, it just I don't really understand how I looked at this and thought, like, this is fine. So you can see it makes a very big difference. It makes things more, makes the colors pop more, and it just looks a lot better. And then we have, you can see there's a ringing phone sound effect. I don't think Final Cut Pro had a ringing phone sound effect, which was, a little annoying. But then we got just more simple things. We just got the car shots. I didn't edit anything on here. I didn't really care about those. Just a phone call. I think this is the hang up noise. I tried to use the Android one, except I couldn't really find a good recording. That's why you can hear some weird sounds in the background. I just got a really crappy recording off of YouTube. Didn't really sound that great, but it's fine. And then we have a computer shot similar to the Woo Studio episode. And I think these also, have their own color correction. I don't think it's as, it's doesn't look the greatest again, but it definitely looks better than nothing. And then also, by default, these shots are mirrored because I recorded it with my front camera, which really isn't good, doesn't look that great. But I had to, mirror it to make it look good. So this was the raw shot, and this is the final shot. So, editing makes a difference. And then we have the actual review segment, which, these aren't necessarily hard to edit, but they just take a while. Like keyframing, this White Castle's keyframed. This one's pretty simple. It's just a simple zoom in, but yeah, it's really simple. It just takes a while, and I just talk. There really isn't much to this. Zoom in, more zoom ins, more zoom ins. Try a little bit of variety with the keyframing, but, some of it just, but there really isn't much to say about editing these segments, because there really weren't many differences, unlike this, where it's like, there still really isn't much to say here. Like, I cropped it a bit, and that's kind of it. When I was recording this segment, I forgot to get a shot of the front of the box where it says easy to heat, fun to eat, so I had to get a picture off the internet. But I think it looks fine. You can see that that's what it says. And yeah, it was just editing. I probably should have done color correction on this, but I think it's fine. And then that's a Final Cut Pro sound effect. Again, it doesn't sound the greatest, but it works. Then we got car shot. When I go introduce myself. An annoying thing is that I forgot to shoot some shots from another angle of Dick responding to me, and because of that I had to cut it weirdly, so it kind of just jumps around. It's a little annoying. And then we have the green screen stuff, and this was a pain. So there are just a ton. Actually, I can just remove them all. There were a ton of problems. So first off, the biggest problem is that we were trying to have Drew's car, like, parts in the driveway like it is right here, and then we're trying to put the green screen up next to it with the green screen stand. But the problem is it was really windy that day, and because of that, the green screen kept on trying to bow away. So then we had to move his car to make it parallel to our garage door, and I hung the green screen up there, and we didn't get close enough for my shots. As you can see, without transforming, you can't see, or you can see the garage door, which was really annoying. So I had to make like most of my shots like super zoomed in, and on some of them you can still even see like up behind. No, that's his car, but I know in some shots you can see the garage door, but I think it looks fine for the most part. But yeah, we use green screen for the car shots. I don't like how zoomed in it is, but you know, at the end of the day, whatever, who cares. And then underneath that is just shots of, you know, driving, and I just got those when we were driving. I never even noticed my phone's reflection up here. I noticed my hand's reflection. I didn't really care about that, but yeah, there are also some highway ambient sounds because I wanted to make it sound like we were actually, you know, driving. But then we got, yeah, so we just, you know, did the car shots. And then Drew's shots turned out a lot better. Oh, there, Drew's shots turned out a lot better because he was able to get like really close to the green screen. But the problem with this shot is that my finger was in the way, so I still had to like zoom it up close. But besides that, you know, it looks pretty good, and for the most part, he looks fine. I look fine for the most part, but yeah, that's the thing. I mean, editing this, you know, a lot of it was just green screening, and getting all that right, because you know some of this footage I would have to like put in reverse or mirror it just so it looks like it's going the right way, because you know this is, you know, I know some of the green screen footage, it was just changed because we were going a different direction, but we weren't supposed to be going that direction, so I just had to edit it a bit, and it ended up looking fine in the end. And then we have one of the more annoying shots when he throws out the Game Boy, because when we went to go film, forgot the Game Boy. So instead, what I had to do was a big old pain in the ass, but I had to keyframe it in, and where is it? I think I combined it. Did I do a combo clip? Where is it? Where is it? I cannot. What? Okay, I'm kind of lost here. Oh wait, I just realized it actually. So I'm kind of stupid. So here's what I did. So I used the shot of so if I was to get rid of the keyer and get rid of the crop, you can see this was, I reused the shot of him throwing out the Game Boy, of Drew throwing out the Game Boy, and instead I cropped it so it's just the Game Boy. I moved it right there, and I keyframed it to fall out the window, and then I keyed it, and that way, you know, it looks, going in a flash, you know, when it's in full motion, it looks fine, you know, considering the situation, you know, I think it ended up looking, you know, pretty good. I was a little worried about it. I thought I was gonna have to throw it against the green screen, but nope, I think it looks fine. Thing is, it's only like half a second, so you can't really notice it. So yeah, I was a little confused there for a second, because the original shot is that, and there was just a bunch of other things about it. So yeah, that was pretty tricky. And then we have a time card. I want to start using this normally. I have it right up here. It's really simple. It's just, you know, text zooming in, a background, and then some elevator music. Then we move on to more driving. There really isn't that much to say about some of this. It's just like, yeah, we're driving, not much of a difference. Another time card. More driving, pretty simple. You know, this shot was shot front cam. Because of that, we had to shoot like this. Of course, Drew's looking at camera. And what else is there? We go into White Castle. A lot of this stuff is pretty, you know, not much to say about the editing. Let me get in the car, and we're about to head out. And then we head out, and then we get to the Mountain Dew Russian Roulette, and we have Hy-Vee gas. We went to Hy-Vee gas at night. It was like 8 o'clock at night, but currently, because of that, because of the current time of year, or because of how, like, the time that the sun goes down at this time of year in Missouri, it was dark when we got there. So I was originally gonna stop by after school on Monday, because we filmed it on a Sunday. But I finished it on that Monday, and I was just like, you know what, I just want to get this video done. So I just used a very generic shot of it with a simple keyframe. But there was that. There's no changes to that. This, I made it a bit brighter, so it looks a bit more like we were still during daytime. And then we just had simple, you know, keyframing, or not keyframing, just green screen. And then we have the slider shot, which doesn't look the best in a pinch, which kind of sucks because this was, I think that shot looks great. You know, you see the slider visibly fly out the window, and you know, that was practical. I saved the slider all the way for when we got back home, just so we could do that, and it ended up looking, you know, at least this shot looked good. It's just that with this editing, it didn't turn out the greatest, which is, you know, my fault. But and this police stuff, you know, this also didn't look the greatest. But what I did was I did some masking, and what I did, oh, I'm not sure what that is, or no, I think, yeah, no, so this is just because the green was removed. But what I did was I drew a mask here, and I added, I doubled the layer. So I copied the layer onto itself, I drew the mask, and then I changed the color correction on the mask to be red, and then I added a Gaussian blur, so that way, you know, it's not harsh, you know, it's more like actual lights, and you know what, it looks fine enough. Honestly, I don't really care that much. If I ever do it again, I'll obviously improve it. Then we get to just some more simplicity, just live action shot after live action shot. We had to cut that a little short. We go in the woods, and again, some of the editing is a little finicky here. That's fine, but like the throwdown, Parker kind of just jumps to being on the grounds. And then we get back in the car. That all looks pretty good. I had to cut it down a bit so it looks like we just drive off immediately. And then we have the "and I stole his mirror." Thankfully, I remembered to get a shot of the woods as we were leaving. So that looks, you know, fine. And this was a scenario where I had to reverse it. I don't know why the green screen doesn't look that great here. You know, you can really tell that it's a green screen. But I think it was a great joke. And then we have, oh, he's not dead. That was really simple. And then another time frame. Back in the game room. And the last thing was the crash, which was pretty fun. I think that's the longest the sound has gone into the credits. But yeah, I think it was a pretty good ending to a pretty good video. There are a couple things that could have ended up better, or yeah, ended up going better, but you know, there are multiple ways in which this, you know, production was a mess. But at the end of the day, all productions are really a mess. I can't really think of a single production of mine where the whole time I was like, this is going great, this is turning out perfectly, exactly how I imagined it, everything is going according to plan. You know, nothing is ever like that. There's always roadblocks. You know, there's always forgetting your Game Boy, so you have to keyframe throwing it out the window.